I don't even remember any of the old categories. Oh, it's already recording?
Uh-huh. I was thinking, wow, he's doing a good job at acting.
Ha! Yeah, no act, baby. Welcome to Beaux Happy Hour, ladies and gentlemen. I guess I can clip that outtakes, extra real. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing? It's been quite some time since our last show. A lot's changed, but not so much. I think we left you hanging with the birth of my young son, Joseph Casserly Engelbert, who's in the 99th percentile for brain and body size.
Yep.
And what's his body?
Height and head size.
Height and head size. So yes, we have a live studio audience. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Besides for our lovely producer Sarah behind the camera. So yeah, to be honest, it was quite a hectic summer, as you all know. I mean, not what was going on in my life, but just the world about to fucking end. So, I mean, Sarah, what's the biggest excuse as to why we weren't making shows for so long? The baby's the easy one. I mean, maternity leave, right?
You work like...
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there was some choice letters used there. Anyway, so what else was it? Oh, Barrett was in town, and Mike Lanham stopped by. That's part of it. Yeah, my one buddy Mike, handsome Mike Lanham, he's an actor and a writer and all this cool stuff. And he didn't feel comfortable coming on the show because I am a racist, sexist, anti-Semitic, homophobic, whatever. All those things. Guilty as charged. I mean, so are probably every one of you from time to time. You know, it's like Shane Gillis said, it's like racism is not like a constant thing. It's like when you're driving and a cheeseburger cuts you off in traffic, you're like, you know, it's like before that you had no problem with the beef industry. So, I mean, I'm slaughtering his material. But the funny thing is, in his special, he said the cheeseburger was Jewish. Which, if that's the case, that means that guy's not keeping it kosher. Anyway, so that's my excuse for not showing up and turning in work. I also had finals for school for my last semester to get my graduate thing, like the whole thing I came to Columbia for, to get the designer label on my jeans. And I have to say, the paper I had to write on Immanuel Kant it really helped crystallize my faith in a lot of ways. Like, I mean, I'll probably go into detail on a different episode, but at least in this little nugget here, it's like the one thing I got from Columbia more than anything else was like a crystallization of my faith, because I took two classes that really weighed heavily on me. One was called The Life of Christ and the Origins of Christianity, and the first day of class, the professor comes out and he's like, you know, here's the empirical facts that, you know, Jesus of Nazareth was a man who walked the earth. It's like that. Here's all the different three different sources that speak about him, you know, and there's no question about his life, that he existed. And so the first half of the semester was on just the life of the historical Christ. Like, who was he? I mean, strip the Almighty from him. It's like, what was that guy's actual life like? And the second half of the semester was the origins of the Christian church. So like, what were the apostles' real message? What were they trying to accomplish? And if you go into the different gospels, it's like they're proselytizing to a different type of person. So that was the one thing. So like, that's the one part of my faith that was like locked in. So there's no question Jesus walked the earth, bang. And then the second one was my class on Kant, which was like my final capstone class, the only one I hadn't done yet for my philosophy degree. And with that, the class on Kant, we did a deep dive into the book, The Critique of Pure Reason, where his goal of the book is to essentially what's the limits of human knowledge? Like what goes beyond rationalization? And he ends up breaking the world or the reality into two different things, like the noumena, which is like the spiritual world, and the phenomena, which is the natural world that we can live in and see. And what I found really amazing about that class, it explained the trilogy to me, because the way in one section he's like looking at our senses, eyes, seeing, hearing, like, and locking it together in the space and time is, to me, that explained the Trinity, because Father, Son, Holy Spirit, so with vision, hearing, and time and space, like the difference there, it's 3 in 1, and what makes the human mind different and unique to the animal kingdom is the fact that, yes, we have all these senses, because if we were just walking with these different senses, what's the the data set that brings it all together, and so the idea of the manifold of perception sort of locked in the Holy Trinity. And then what I found interesting was like when speaking to the noumenal world, like the things you cannot see, taste, smell, or hear, right? But they're real. And if you think of so that's the godly spiritual realm, right? So if you think of Wi-Fi, you can't see, smell, touch, feel it, but you know it exists. You know where it comes from. You know where it emanates from, and you know its capabilities to talk to people across the other side of the world, or fight with them in the comments of a goddamn YouTube video where fuck idiots like me walk around knocking over beers in my own fucking apartment. Luckily, the beer stein is still going. Anyway, all that to say, I graduated from Columbia University. I got my degree in philosophy, and the greatest gift I got from my time in this secular university in the modern day Babylon is an absolute faith in Jesus Christ. Christ is King. Anyway, interesting thing about Christ, some of his cousins, or all his children, I suppose, have been fighting in the Middle East. That's been talked about, I know. And but during finals, there was these riots going on right outside of campus. Well, I guess it's that way. And people were yelling and screaming and shoving their kafars and waving their flags and stuff like that. Well, here's where I would cut to the video of me getting into a fight with one of the people outside of my college campus. The way that went down was I was going over to Butler Library to go work in the stacks, because I do some of my best writing up there. It's a clean, orderly space. It's quiet as fuck. So, yeah, so I was on my way up there, but campus was blocked off. They wouldn't let in students onto the campus unless they lived on campus. So I was trying to leave. Some fucking white douche who, like, he was probably like 21-ish, like, had a total baby face and like one of those little, like, wispy, kind of dark mustaches. And he had like a leather jacket, he was all in black, trying to be cool, and he was smoking a cigarette. Now, I got my backpack on my back, which is probably at least 20 pounds, but let's just say 20 to 30. Got a bunch of books and what have you in there. And so I got that, I'm looking at this guy, kind of looking up at him, he's a little bit big. And he started saying some really fucked up, like, shit to me, like, I'm Jewish. I didn't really think I came off as one, but either way, I was like, I tried to just diffuse the situation in terms of, like, listen, man, I understand whatever, I think war is horrible, I've experienced it, and I just think whatever's going on either side, it's like, I just want it just to end, period, And then he takes a puff of his cigarette, blows it in my face, and I just, like, I let it slide the first time, because it's just saying he's talking. He's like, so at least you can acknowledge that the other side is doing evil. and he blew another fucking cigarette smoke in my face, and in that moment I just was like, for half a second I was like, you should hit this motherfucker, and I just threw just a straight jab, and the second I hit that dude, like I had a bunch of people jump on top of me. I didn't engage the hips, so I was like, I didn't offset my hips or anything like that, so I was like, I'm saying if you see the video, there's a reason why I didn't fucking knock him out with the first punch. But after I hit him in the face, I saw his fucking smug smile turn into a little cry, and his glasses were all kind of knocked off center, and he's like, and then I had a bunch of fucking children on my back, not like little children, like adult babies wearing diapers on their faces, and I'm just throwing overhand rights, like it's a hockey fight, because I couldn't really engage my hips, and I had all these people, but it was funny because it felt like there was a bunch of little, like it was like angels slowly holding me back from killing this guy and getting arrested. And they kind of succeeded. I threw one guy over my shoulder, I swam him over me, and then I got pulled off. I rushed back in, the cops got me. So I did get arrested, but I didn't kill anybody. That's the good thing. But the better thing was, as I'm in the back of the cop car, talking to the cops, and they're basically, they're kind of jealous that I was in there doing it, But other than that, they said we saw the guy instigate the fight, and all the people, jump on top of you. You're clear to go. You don't got nothing. Kicked me out the back of the car, and but interesting thing about that, somebody emailed the disciplinary board at my school, and they reached out to me inquiring about this fight, because somebody just said, I think that's him. Who fucking said or sent it was it? I do not know, but I do know they were somewhat affiliated with the Millvets. So hey, I appreciate it. I would love to hear what the school has to ask me about when I was assaulted by these fucking gang of thugs. But that's what I thought they were reaching out for. No, they were wondering because, in the video evidence, it does show me, throwing the first punch. But the second blowing of smoke in my face, when I looked up disorderly behavior or things of that nature, I could probably pull it up here, but it's going to take too long. Spitting on somebody is the same as punching them. That motherfucker blew smoke into my face of unknown chemical compounds. I don't know what he's smoking. And I'm totally unaware of his COVID status. So, he could have tried to be a biological weapon to kill me. Fuck. Oh. All right. But, so when the school reached out to me, and I got to see my file, that's right, Joseph. Amen. And I got to see my file. I realized that, like I said, it was a third-party person who sent the message. So this was what my statement to the board was. Shucks, I just lost it. I'll find it again. This is my written statement to the board in my own defense about the, here we go. To whom it may concern, the purpose of this written statement is to address the allegations of endangerment levied against me in regard to the student conduct and community standards. In the course of this written statement, I intend to share my side of events that were captured in the video that took place outside of Columbia's campus. I will do this by painting a fuller picture from my perspective by giving details that preceded the incident and the police involvement afterwards. The following is an account of the altercation to the best of my recollection that took place outside of Columbia's campus. I was on my way to Butler Library to work on my final paper for my class on Kant. After being denied access to campus, I was surrounded by a large group of pro-Hamas protesters who were spewing anti-Semitic and antagonistic statements at me. I attempted to de-escalate the situation by informing them that I can sympathize with their frustration regarding the war, but that criminal activity and threats of violence would not resolve the situation abroad. After which, the person with whom I was speaking to threatened me, then blew smoke into my face. As I was surrounded by people wearing masks who had been chanting violent threats, my reaction was to strike out in self-defense. Thankfully, the police stepped in, broke up the altercation, and removed me from the gang of thugs. After being led away from the melee, the police told me that they would not press charges because they saw that I had acted in self-defense, complied with their commands, and did not resist upon their intervention, and was released without charge. At this point, I would like to remind the board that I pursued to resolve this issue long after it took place. I think it is also worth noting that there is no definitive proof, other than my own admission, that I am the person involved in the altercation, and it is not the person who instigated the altercation who made the board aware of the incident, but a third party who was not present for the engagement that presented this video to the administration, who speculated that I was a person involved in the incident. I do not take pride in my actions that occurred on the incident in question, but submit that my actions were made in self-defense and in reaction to the unknown individual who would be guilty of the same offense as outlined in the Code of Conduct. And then I copy and paste the Code of Conduct. And prohibited behavior includes, but is not limited to, acts that endangers human life or threaten physical injury. Unwanted physical contact with any person that reasonably places that person in fear of physical injury or danger is prohibited. Physical restriction, fighting, pushing, punching, hitting, slapping, spitting on, and or kicking any person. As one can see in the video, my assailant blew smoke in my face, which I believe can be considered the equivalent of being spat upon. In regard to my safety, I was unaware of the potential chemical makeup of what he was smoking or his COVID status. I understand that my actions may have been an escalation regarding the situation in question, but when I found myself surrounded by hostile actors with no means of safe egress, I believed self-defense was my only option. In preparation for this board, I researched how Colombia dealt with the compatriots of whom I encountered and discovered this. Then it's a fucking link to a video of the protesters who broke into Hamilton Hall. As one can see, officers who made entry into Hamilton Hall did so with a pistol drawn in order to safely make entry and secure the building. These same officers went in and cleared the building using aggressive tactics, breaching doors, and in full riot gear. I understand that Colombia was not in charge of how the police chose to pacify the situation, but the statement made by the university regarding the situation was as follows. We regret the protesters have chosen to escalate the situation through their actions. After the university learned overnight that Hamilton Hall had been occupied, vandalized, and blockaded, we were left with no choice. Columbia Public Safety personnel were forced out of the building, and a member of our facilities team was threatened. We will not risk the safety of our community or the potential for further escalation. The leadership team met throughout the night and into the early morning, consulting with security experts and law enforcement to determine the best plan to protect our students and the entire Columbia community. We made the decision early in the morning that this was a law enforcement matter and that the NYPD was best positioned to determine and execute an appropriate response. I sent another link, but it says police raid Columbia campus and arrest protesters. This is another link to more of that, of what had happened that evening. If you were to take the time to compare the footage between what I faced that evening and how the police neutralized the situation, the degree of force that I exercised to escape was far less capable of doing severe bodily harm than that of the NYPD, whom the university deemed, in their quotes, were best positioned to determine and execute an appropriate response, end quote. So yeah, I guess that other link was how the police came in, gats out, staying their own business, if you will. Looking back on my actions on that evening, I acknowledge that engaging with those spewing hateful anti-Semitic rhetoric put me in unknowing danger, but I do not regret standing up against those who professed violent intent to my person and the children of Israel. Although I am not Jewish, I swore an oath as a Marine to defend my nation against all enemies, foreign or domestic, and believed engaging verbally with the mob of agitators was fulfilling that duty. Regrettably, their escalation of force caused me to feel endangered, and my reaction brought about this hearing. I have no ill will towards those misguided individuals who attacked me, and I hope that after hearing my side of the altercation, this matter can be put to rest. In closing, I would like to thank the university for pursuing the matter to attain my side of the altercation and hope that my statement can be used to help justify the actions taken by the NYPD to reclaim Hamilton Hall from misguided individuals who vandalized and threatened university personnel. Respectfully, my name, Semper Fidelis, and go fuck yourself. Yeah, so that's how I kind of feel about being sort of attacked for defending myself. So, but we live in, what do they call it, anarcho-tyranny, you know? The only people who get fucking arrested are the good guys. Alright, so that's the matter with school. Shit. Oh, yeah! You know what? I don't know if you noticed, but there was a set change, I guess. I moved the bar around in the apartment, so now you got the backdrop of beautiful New York City. And that'll be the green screen again. I still don't know how to operate one with the computer magic, so we'll see. Other things going on. So after the matter with the school thing hasn't been resolved fully yet. That was what I sent. And it's been a week. They said they need an extra week to think about it. To be honest, I could actually probably, and this is the absolute truth, I'm pulling up what they want to say to me. I might hijack this entire episode and I might fucking drop all the rest of the shit. Let's see what Columbia had to say about the thing I just said to them. This was unscripted event, ladies and gentlemen. Do-do-do. Sign in. So, sorry, I guess we could usually cut this sort of thing in post, but I don't have post, so I gotta kind of be entertaining whilst at the same time doing, you know, this is like the deep cut shit, you know? Oh, let's call me. Call me. Call me anytime. It would probably go on if my, the thing about, you know, don't call me shit comes up. Personal, what do they call it? The don't bother me mode on your phone?
Do not disturb.
Do not disturb. There we go. All right, I'm in. Oh, all right. Gmail. Oh, not interested. All right, here we go. Correspondence with David Engelbert from Columbia. Click. Do-do-do. Pick up the letter. I gotta re-fucking... There's so many gates to jump through, dude. It's ridiculous. Here we go. Let's read the letter. Oh shit, I gotta go to keyboard. Goodbye. Alright. Here's what the school had to say. Let's see how I go. Sent electronically. Blah, blah, blah. Decision. After carefully considering all the information provided at the hearing and throughout the investigative process, we find you responsible for the following prohibited behavior: endangerment. While this decision was not made lightly, the specific factors that led to the decision included the following. During our meeting on August 8th, we discussed the dean's discipline process, and the incident took place on May 1st. In our conversation, you shared that on the day of the incident, you were on your way to the library on campus. You stated that while en route to the library, your path was obstructed by protesters and police. You also shared that in an attempt to remove yourself from the protesters, one of the protesters started blowing smoke in your face. Furthermore, you stated that in the process to protect yourself, you did have a self-defense reaction. Lastly, you stated that you acknowledged your actions did not take pride in what occurred. Based on the evaluation of the evidence presented in the case file, in addition to what was discussed during the hearing, we determined you are responsible for engaging in violation of the endangerment policy. The policy defines that unwanted physical contact with any person that reasonably places that person in fear or physical injury or danger is prohibited. As a result of this finding, it is determined that you are responsible for violating the standards and discipline, specifically the endangerment policy. Lastly, in the meeting, you will also share that you have reflected on how you would avoid repeating this action and the importance of understanding university policies and expectations. Sanction. As a follow-up to the decision of responsibility, the sanctions below will be implemented. For more information on sanctions and good standing status and transcription notifications, please visit our standards and discipline. Due to the nature of the violation, you are now placed on disciplinary probation, beginning immediately and concluding on August 8th. The status of the disciplinary probation indicates, August 8th, 2025. Beginning immediately. And conclude. I missed that one part. So it's a year of probation. You engaged in serious prohibited behavior and are no longer in good disciplinary standing during this specific period. If you are found to be in violation of any Columbia University policy, it may result in more severe consequences, up to and including suspension, expulsion from the school. Appeal. Oh, you bet your ass I'm going to appeal. You have the right to request a review of this decision. There are 3 grounds upon which a review of the decision may be made. An appeal based on procedural error must identify with specifically each alleged errors within the investigative and hearing process and the ways in which the specified errors substantially affect the decision and or sanction to the detriment of the student. New information. An appeal based on new information must explain why this information was not available or not provided to the hearing officers at the time of the hearing. Okay. Inappropriate sanctions. An appeal on the imposed sanction must explain why a sanction is inappropriate based on the weight of the information provided during the investigation. Okay, I have until September 5th. The request for review should be addressed to Marla Delva, Dean of Students. I will make sure that
That's a week, right?
I got a week. I'm going to actually call some of my friends who may want to represent me. I might want to call Ben Shapiro at the Daily Wire and say, hey guy, look what happened to me for standing up for you. Rally behind me. I mean, I was attacked by a gang of fucking thugs who were dressed in masks. Fuck them. You see, the whole, me going after this was a bit of fun for me anyway. Now I'm up against the school, which is going to be fun for me. Those motherfuckers, well, I guess they will see it coming if they decide to watch this video. And I mean, we were a good 15 to 30 minutes in before no, we're at 28 minutes now. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. That's kind of a deep cut. I'm going to release it just because I don't give a fuck. And what else is there? Resources to assist you. Don't need it. Yo, tell your Jew buddies that you have goons in the street, but I need them in the courtroom. Oh, well. I'm going to war. You know what the funniest thing is? Actually, I can't talk about what's funniest. But let's just say I might be more involved in a war between Palestinians and Israelis sooner than I think. But with that being said, I think I'm cast out. And I mean, the second half of that was very esoteric. But either way, join me next week. I guess I don't know when I'm going to post it, but I want to get back on that fucking every week type of shit. Anyway, Christ is King, Jesus loves you, and happy birthday. Bye-bye. Hit end. Please. Producer, you're fucking it up. Yep, you're still fucking it up. Use your nose.